Over the next 10 years, international cricket is preparing to scale its operations to a size the sport has never attempted. Right now, the men's T20 World Cup operates on a 20-team model. 12 slots go to automatic qualifiers, while the remaining 8 are earned through regional tournaments. This setup successfully integrated new nations, but it has reached its maximum functional capacity. To solve this, the International Cricket Council is planning a massive scale-up. The first phase is a transitional jump to a 24-team tournament, slated for 2028. But that is only a stepping stone. The ultimate goal is a sprawling 32-team mega-tournament by 2030 or 2032, mirroring the scale of the FIFA World Cup. Yet, at the exact same moment the ICC is expanding the World Cup outward, it is running headfirst into a severe structural bottleneck. When cricket returns to the Olympic Games in Los Angeles in 2028, the tournament will be restricted to exactly 6 teams. This is the global inclusion paradox. The sport is executing 2 radically contradictory models simultaneously: a maximalist, high-volume expansion competing directly against a minimalist, highly restrictive quota system. To see where the sport is actually heading, we have to deconstruct the architectural changes required to host a 32-team World Cup and analyze exactly how that expansion threatens to distort the rigid Olympic qualification process. The ICC is currently testing 2 radically contradictory frameworks for global inclusion, a strategic gamble that stakes millions of dollars on a fundamental re-engineering of the sport's competitive structure. This table outlines the proposed expansion timeline. Look closely at the row for 2028. The shift to a 2014 model is largely a transitional buffer, designed to test the logistics of a larger event before making the final leap. The blueprint for a 32-teams tournament requires a completely different architecture. It borrows heavily from international football, organizing 32 separate national teams cleanly into 8 groups of 4. From those 8 groups, the top-performing teams advance into a traditional round-of-16 knockout bracket. Operating a structure of this size creates an immediate logistical hurdle. It requires executing between 60 and 70 international matches within a very tight calendar window. Because of the match durations and mandatory rest days in cricket, single-nation hosting becomes nearly impossible. The ICC will have to rely on multi-nation regional clusters, spreading matches across the Middle East, Europe, or the Americas to minimize travel fatigue. This matrix highlights the internal debate currently happening within the ICC regarding that expansion. The core tension lies between feasibility and global reach. When evaluating feasibility, the 24-team model is viewed as a manageable transition. The 32-team format is categorized as a logistical giant, significantly increasing matches and travel demands. But administrators must also factor in player workload and revenue potential. While 32 teams offer massive television opportunities, it puts an immense strain on resources. A heavier international calendar inevitably collides with the schedules of highly lucrative domestic franchise leagues, forcing players to choose between national duty and private contracts. Moving to a 32-team format forces a high-risk restructuring of the sport's global supply chain, a change that goes far deeper than adding more matches. Scaling up also breaks the current qualification math. You cannot simply multiply the existing 12 automatic and 8 regional slots to reach 32 evenly. This document outlines the 4 theoretical qualification architectures the ICC is currently modeling to solve that problem. The first approach, Regional Pathway 2.0, scales up existing pipelines to preserve local representation. For example, Africa and Europe might expand from single entries to 3 or 4 guaranteed slots each. The second approach borrows from basketball. It creates a global play-in stage, a centralized, high-stakes knockout tournament acting as a safety net for teams that narrowly missed out in regional qualifiers. The third and fourth models utilize historic rankings to segregate teams. They establish a 2-stage elimination system that separates the highly seeded automatic qualifiers from the emerging regional teams until the later rounds. The obvious competitive risk of opening these pipelines so aggressively is a drop in early-stage quality, leading to severe mismatches and blowouts on the world stage. The ICC is willing to accept that trade-off. They absorb the cost of lower-quality preliminary matches to unlock the commercial potential of new national markets. This qualification engine functions as a heavily subsidized global development program, prioritizing market access alongside competitive fairness to ensure the sport's long-term commercial health. While the World Cup embraces a maximalist philosophy, the LA 2028 Olympics present an entirely different, extreme minimalist environment. According to this report, the International Olympic Committee has imposed a hard cap on the event. Exactly 6 men's and 6 women's teams will compete. To fill those slots, the IOC prefers the 5-ring principle. Instead of relying purely on global rankings, they enforce geographic universality by allocating exactly 1 slot to each continent: Asia, Africa, Europe, the Americas, and Oceania, plus an automatic slot for the host nation. This quota system creates a highly volatile situation for traditional cricket powerhouses. Teams like Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or New Zealand are clustered inside heavily contested continental zones. If they do not win their single regional spot, they face total Olympic exclusion. This is where the 2 ICC systems directly collide. The aggressive expansion of the World Cup actively undermines the Olympic security of established teams. By admitting 32 teams into the World Cup, the ICC arms associate nations, like the Italian national team seen here, with crucial big stage experience. Armed with that experience, those emerging nations become lethal, unpredictable threats to full member teams in brutal single-elimination Olympic continental qualifiers. It also creates a ranking volatility feedback loop. An expanded World Cup forces top-tier teams to play more matches against weaker opponents, which can skew the averages used to calculate their global standing. Administrators are now tasked with the nightmare of aligning the ICC scheduling cycle with strict Olympic cutoff dates, ensuring teams have enough high-value matches to protect their rankings. By expanding the World Cup to grow the sport globally, the ICC has inadvertently made qualifying for the Olympics significantly more dangerous for its traditional superpowers. The ICC is intentionally disrupting its own established hierarchy in pursuit of a larger global footprint. They are running a sprawling 32-team bracket simultaneously against a highly constrained 6-team Olympic quota. The expansion to 32 teams represents an aggressive, calculated inclusion strategy designed to transition cricket from a regional powerhouse into a truly universal sporting language. This list highlights the specific long-term payoffs the ICC expects: more grassroots growth, deeper penetration into new fan markets, and crucially, new incentives for government investment. That last point is the ultimate prize. Securing Olympic legitimacy provides the exact leverage needed to convince emerging market governments to invest state funds into their domestic cricket infrastructure. To achieve this, the ICC has to walk a severe administrative tightrope. They must perfectly synchronize a massive, multinational logistical machine with rigid Olympic constraints, all while avoiding ranking chaos. If they manage to balance the logistical weight of a 32-team tournament with the elite exclusivity of the Olympics, T20 cricket permanently leaves behind its traditional power base to become a truly global game.